If you are Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3, I hope you are falling in love with your machine. We are doing free video tutorials here on YouTube where you can master every corner of this machine by going through every video we're doing. So here we're going to kind of get into selecting stitches and just kind of a quick little overview and tricks about finding different stitches on this machine and also learning what each stitch is designed to do. But we have over 100 videos we're doing, so make sure you check out the complete playlist. That link is in the description below. Plus we have online courses designed for this machine, including our Embroidery Essentials online course and the beautiful Stitching Cosmos online course. That is a great way to master the sewing side of your machine. There's absolutely no embroidery, but working with functions and stitches and decorative stitches that are all built into this machine. As a side note, if you are a previous Husqvarna Viking owner, you're going to notice that some things have changed, and finding your way around this machine, I will tell you, is just going to take a little bit of practice. That means that you need to either stitch out your stitch book, which we do have a video on doing that, which will help you kind of figure out where the buttons are, where the different screens are, and where all your stitches might have gotten moved to. I found that with just a little time sitting in front of this machine and making myself learn it is truly how you're going to master finding all the things that you know are in here but might not have actually done if all you're doing is sewing straight. So one thing about selecting stitches, number one, we are using the touch of our finger. So you're probably going to need to work on how much touch you need. I also noticed that when my hands are colder, I might not be able to touch the screen as easily. So like a stylus that is for touch screens or phones or tablets might be a recommendation for you. But as we touch the little zigzag, you notice this whole entire screen pops open. Now it does cover up the stitch behind, like really only that straight stitch is barely showing in the back. But do know that you can touch on the little triangle here and kind of move this around. So if you want to see your stitch and your stitches side by side, that might be an option for you. You notice there's a little scroll bar here so you can actually touch and hold and drag up. There's lots of stitches. And at the top you're going to find there's different tabs with different categories. Inside each tab there is even subcategories. So for example, we're in the utility stitches, menu A, and we're in menu A1. Then if we go to A2, we find that we're in the applique and mending stitches. A3, we're in buttonholes. So you find that you will want to take some time. And when we say stitch out your stitch book, this is why, because you start to find some of these areas that you might not see just by looking, because all you're seeing are like the basic utility stitches. Across the top here, as we go to each category, we can see that there's, say, 3 different groupings of crafting stitches. We've got satin and scallop stitches. We can touch and drag as we're looking for stitches towards the end, some of the ginormous stitches, and keeping in mind that those stitches are actual size. So when it tells you what foot to put on, it means it. It's because, like for example, your S foot is designed to help with stitches that will be sewing in sideways motion directions, as they're called omni-motion stitches. They're absolutely beautiful, by the way, and we do a lot of this in our Stitching Cosmos online course where we help you really get used to stitches that are like moving your fabric to the left and to the right. So as you pick a different stitch, you will find they do look so much prettier stitched out, so do keep that in mind. If you're wondering what some of these stitches actually are, I'm going to go back to the utility stitches and notice the last stitch that I picked is still on the screen. So even though I'm on the utility stitches, it's not going to sew a straight stitch unless I select the straight stitch. We have not gotten to a machine just yet that will read my mind, but I feel like that could be in the future. All right, Once you select your stitch, you will find you have a question mark at the top. As I touched it, notice it's pulsating at the top. Now I can come down and say, pick a stitch, and it will identify the stitch and any other information that is necessary for it to be stitched. Some of the really unique exclusive stitches, like the ribbon stitches that are in here, you're going to find it'll have directions for these. Well, this particular one, a reinforced zigzag, I do use actually this quite a bit for joining fabric edge to edge or overlapping in leather for decorative stitching. Touch the X and it will go away, and then select the stitch to have it be picked. Again, look how big that stitch is, and as we need to adjust it, you'll open up the edit stitch, so you have the option for adjusting stitch width, length, needle position, all the things for this stitch, including mirror image, all hide in the edit stitch area. If you don't want that showing on your screen, you like a nice kind of pretty screen, that will be option to kind of close it down and hide it away. You also can touch the zigzag stitch, and that will also hide it away. So as you're watching me go through these different videos, I'm going to be including tips on each and everything about this machine. Things that you might not think, oh, that looks like an exciting video to watch, but if you watch it, you're going to learn something each and every time. For example, if you go up to where the piece of fabric is showing, you can actually even select the type of fabric you're working on, if it's heavy or light, and it will adjust for different settings for this stitch. If you watch in the background, you're noticing that if I am on heavy, it picks a bigger version, and if I'm on light, it actually will change it to different settings for this exact stitch. So the Sewing Advisor, that's just one part of the Sewing Advisor option where it will actually adjust your stitches. It's like having your own little sewing teacher right there at your fingertips. If you're unsure what you're working on, make sure you leave it on woven, and make sure you leave it on medium, and that will be kind of like the middle of the road for each of the stitches that you're working on. Do check out our Sewing Advisor video where we go into more of those options and how to make it work for you. Now, if you want to get back to a straight stitch, make sure that you go back and choose the stitch number 2. That's the one with the center needle position, and that's the stitch that starts when you turn on the machine. So I hope these things have been helpful. This is just the tip of all the things you're going to learn. Again, find the complete playlist right here at the end of this video, or click the link in the description below.